Hello, my name is Daniel Roberts, a volunteer at the Highline Heritage Museum, and you're listening to Highline Times in History on KQWZ 106.5 FM. And I'm with Roger Price.
We're both here at the museum today. We're sitting in the radio booth of One America. Do a little recordings, and we're going to try to do an ongoing show, a series during the summertime.
And the hope of this program is to record some of the memories of a long-term resident of the Highline area, so that you guys can enjoy it now or years from now.
Okay, well, thank you, Daniel. Yes, KQWZ 106.5.
Thank you for listening, and enjoy the show.
I'm Roger Price. I'm here in the museum today, and I'm going to talk about, and Daniel and I are going to talk about some different things, and I'd like to talk about the various carnivals that used to go on in Burien about once a year during the summertime, and over the years, starting way back, probably some of them I remember back from even as early as the 1950s, and I know they were in different locations over the years. But I think the ones that were first when I was around was probably held at the Burien Playfield, maybe behind the gym that was there, the field house. But yeah, we were living across the street where Vince's is now, but I know there was a carnival there, and they would have different various rides, and they would have other games you would play. And maybe throw softballs at cement milk bottles, or you try to pop some balloons or whatever. And then there was also the one where they try to land a dime on a plate. That's just probably the most hardest one I've ever seen to win anything at that. But yeah, they were those things. I remember one time uh, when I was a kid, my dad used to go over I think it was the one that was behind on the playfield there at the field house. But yeah, he tried those dimes, and I think he got a little frustrated at that. So I don't know how many dimes he went through at the time, but yeah, it was always kind of aggravating, different things. But yeah, and then over time, I know the carnival would come in, and I think some of the times I remember also it was up in the parking lot there, kind of where the Burger King is now. There was a lot of room there back in the 60s, before the Burger King was around and before LA Fitness. Uh, that was kind of open area up in that area. So there was plenty of room for carnivals and different things, and you could and even GovMart Bazaar hadn't been built yet, so and it went in there just about that area. But yeah, yeah, and then it moved. It was around different areas, maybe over towards where some of the condominiums are now, and Merrill Gardens. I think there might have been a section of land in there too, back in the 60s and the 70s, that was open for carnivals, because they needed a little bit of room also, because they set up, maybe a Ferris wheel and rides. So it needed some room. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and kind of look forward to that each summer. But yeah, and then I don't know if we ever had. I think we even had a big tent at a few of them. I think that might have been more down in the where Mosier Field is now, but most of the ones that were here right in Burien, I don't remember a tent was involved. But possibly, Daniel, you had some fun times too with carnivals back in Las Cruces So,
Yeah, you'd occasionally have carnivals there. There was one that set itself up next to the university because they have this big dirt lot for all the students that paid for the nosebleed section parking, basically.
uh,
And you know, I had memorable times. So I mean, no problems with the food, even though it's safety was questionable. And most of the rides were fine, but there was one ride. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the ones that, they kind of put a strap around you and then it kind of spins you around like, like high above the ground.
oh,
So it might go half horizontally.
sure.
And the one I rode on that, the little strap they put around you was like very shaking, very loose, and I was more focused on will I survive this? I
Yeah.
remember the ride. It was memorable. Was it good? It was memorable. But most of the carnival rides or carnival things I remember was it wasn't a real carnival, but it was at Circus over in Las Vegas. And, they had all those, games that you were talking about as well. Though one of the ones I remember was a sort of water gun that you used to kind of try to spray the target and you'd race other people. Like they'd have a little horse race looking thing, maybe. You
Uh,
could spray there, and when you got in the target, your horse went forward, and whoever won got tickets, basically. You get enough tickets, you get a prize. So, you know, my bedroom was inundated with stuffed animals or whatever miscellaneous stuff I won. So I had that. Um, and then the only sort of carnival, it wasn't really a carnival, it was more of a fair, and that was when I was doing a study abroad over in Japan. And so they had some of those games you were also talking about. And like they had some weird like thing of trying to catch a fish with like a little paper thing, ladle thing. It was,
oh, sure. Uh-huh.
so and that was fun as well. So, I've seen different carnival stuff and it was pretty fun.
Yeah, oh, sure. And I know back in 62 when we had the World's Fair downtown, they had some really nice, I mean, that was just the top of all the different rides down there. So if you went there and you get a little bit spoiled when you come back and then you see a carnival that is downsized and in Burien. So, but I know uh, I always enjoyed baseball, so I always kind of levitated towards the cement milk bottles and throwing the softballs at it. And a few times I did knock them all over and maybe win a stuffed animal or a teddy bear or something. But yeah, that was and then there was always different ones where you would maybe shoot BBs at some tin. Uh, racehorses or something. I'm not quite remember how it all went down, but and you never knew which ones were kind of more uh, lean towards ownership winning more than anything because they couldn't stay in business if they gave away every stuffed animal or something to every person that participated. So, but yeah, that was and we had a good time doing that. There's always something to look at. And you could get hot dogs and cotton candy and different things. So uh, it was just fun. I know just before Burien Town Square, while they were building that, there was the one lot there where the Maverick apartments are now. That was it was one of the last buildings to be built, so that sat empty, and they used to put a carnival in there for a few years too. But over time, it kind of they lost their appeal, so it kind of uh, I don't know. They're still around, and I think the last one this summer was one up on 128th and First Avenue, I believe, up by the Safeway up there. But yeah, I know I had. It was always good, fun to go to the carnival.
Oh yeah. It was more of playing the game and then maybe a prize was a bonus. That was the main fun part. But I could see how they were losing some of their appeal. Like when I was in college, I think that was right around the time that they were like government agencies were getting a little more strict about like the treatment of like animals in there. So, that kind of hits one part of carnivals. And so they have to kind of focus on the games or the rides. So, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know. That's just my experience on them though.
And I'm sure as the years went by, the liability and insurance and all that became a factor too. So they had to tame everything down a little bit, so less dangerous and more responsibility. So that probably was a factor also.
Oh yeah. But I mean it's still got that unique experience. I mean, you can go online and play a video game or something, but only at the carnival can you throw, a softball at like a milk bottle or whatever. And,
Uh-huh.
there's something to be said about that. It's something different.
Uh-huh, yeah, or throwing darts at balloons or something too. That was always a challenge. So you're pretty accurate with throwing darts. You could do pretty well at that. But yeah, I think if you were considered maybe a ringer, the the person with the booth would say, "Well, okay, you won. It's time for you to move on," or something like that too. So didn't want you walking around with uh, 12 different stuffed animals.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. You gotta make a livelihood, but they also have to give you something. They can't have you never win, so yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So no, it was good times back then too. So it's just a different thing to do during the summertime when you were on summer break and you were in between the hydroplane races out at Lake Washington and different things. Seattle Rainiers down at Six Stadium, whatever. There was always something to do during the summertime, or you could go down and go to Mosier and maybe play in a pickup uh, baseball game or something. But play a game of work up, that was always fun too. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I also remember one time uh, when the new A&P grocery store opened at Five Corners, and I believe that was around 19 and 57, 58, and it was it was actually where the Value Village is now, and for their grand opening, they had uh, oh, it was a helicopter, not a real helicopter, but it was a metal helicopter that they had. It was attached to an arm that would and the operator could lift. You could sit in there, maybe one or two, three people could sit inside this helicopter, and then the operator would lift the thing up maybe at 10 or 12 feet up in the air, and the kids got a big kick out of that because it was just another part of the promotional grand opening for this A&P grocery store, and which it was well, everyone knows kind of where the Value Village is now. So, and that was I think there was also when A&P went in there, they also had a Rexall drug in that location too. So there was a lot going on at the time, and then there was also just across the street there was the Highline bowling alley, and then across 157th there was a mini bowling alley that was there for a few years. I can't remember exactly how many years it was, but you could also go in there, and it was just a mini bowling. I don't think it was full size bowling balls or anything like that, but it was fun for kids and families to enjoy. So anyway, that was kind of one of the highlights also of that time frame.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, only thing something similar that we had was whenever we had the balloon festival in like New Mexico, there was uh hot air balloons that you could ride up a little bit up in there.
Oh, uh-huh.
But yeah, no, so.
Well, we did actually. Yeah, I believe it was in the possibly the 90s when just about the time I don't remember Seafair or what, but the Goodyear blimp used to come up to Seattle. I believe during Seafair, and you could actually get a ticket to ride on that. I think it it would land out on at SeaTac Field somewhere in that area, and then it would take you one of the off distance runways or whatever, but it would land and you could purchase a ticket. I don't remember. I didn't do it, but I remember the cost. But yeah, it would fly you up over Seattle. That was also fun, I think, too.
Yeah, very cool. Well, anything else you have? Any memories or?
Right off my top of my head, I can't think of anything right at the moment, but I'm sure there'll be other stories to tell as time goes by. Sure.
Absolutely. Well, since nothing else to be said on this, I figure we can wrap this up.
Okay, thank you, Daniel, and
Of course, and thank you folks for listening in. I hope you guys enjoyed something from this show today, and I hope you'll join us next time.